We got to talk about it. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about something pretty exciting.
It's your turn now, Will.
Yeah, I know, right? This is my turn to gush, right? So this is funny because I like I said, I did not live stream this because of my Module case setup, which again, I'm hoping to have these done and set up by the end of the weekend, this weekend. So we will see. Got to get them clean, set up, get everything in, get the figures, get the statues, everything. So but Prime One did a showcase over last Saturday, and they showed some really cool stuff. There was a lot of sort of anime stuff I wasn't as into, some DC stuff, Batman, of course, some other stuff like Berserk and stuff like that. But they saved the best for last. They waited and showed The Last of Us Part 1 statue. This is a quarter scale statue, a diorama statue. You get Ellie, you get Joel, you get some swappable parts, you get a clicker, you get some really cool diorama parts. On the back of the base, you have like a clicker sort of into the quarterceps. Looks really, really cool. Again, not everyone is a statue collector here, but this is something I'd be remiss if I did not talk about because of how excited I am for it. This is a dopo. I'm going to get this day one. This is going to be shipped to me. I can't wait to see how much the price is. We've had some speculation out there in terms of how much this is actually going to cost. But for video game collectors, this is a very, I think, going to be awesome statue. We're going to look at the edition size eventually when that is announced. But for the meantime, we've been waiting on Limb Toys and other one-scale companies to do a Joel and Ellie from the game. However, if you're a Last of Us fan, this is a hard statue to ignore. That's a Chico. Is this statue worth making space for? Because, I mean, if you were to type, if you were to say Grail, if you Urban Dictionary had pictures and you typed in Grail, this would be the picture, bro. This is Last of Us Part 1. This is not, I mean, by the way, Dean, I got to talk to you, bro. I've actually been enjoying Last of Us Part 2, so something might be wrong with me, but I've actually been enjoying it.
Well, you like the sequel trilogy, so
yeah, well, I guess maybe not. It all makes sense. Makes sense. So, Kiko, what do you think, bro? Is this statue worth making space for?
Because it means something to you, Will. Yes, because the things that mean something to you, you want to show it off. You want there to be a representation of the things that mean something to you. So when people walk in and they're like, hey, what means stuff to you? You point and say, this stuff means something to me. This is a representation of me. And so I think that's awesome. So as I said, well, I'm still in the backlog of games I'm trying to get caught up with on my PS5 and all that stuff. I've not made it to Last of Us, and I didn't finish the series as well because I kind of got a little bit sleepy, and I was like, so I'm sorry to hurt you like that. You hurt me saying Star Wars is okay. So I'm going to hurt you saying that I fell asleep and couldn't finish The Last of Us show. But for what it is, I mean, what a cool pose. I mean, what a cool dynamic opportunity to show really cool stuff. So if this is you, Will, yeah, man, make some room for it. That's the thing, is that if you like something, you're going to make space for it. And that's when it comes down to purchases, is you don't have to double guess about, do I need to make this? Do I need to have this? You were chatting with me, Will, about, all these module spaces, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you measure it right. Because, spoiler, I was considering getting into the module space thing. You're like, make sure you measure properly, because I did not measure properly on a couple things. I'm like, oh no. And he's like, I need to make sure that I have room for these statues. And because it means something to you, Dave. And yeah, man, if something means something to you, yeah, you make it work.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. And yeah, with the modulars, Kiko is right. The measurements, I had to move them around slightly because originally I did not think about the depth, kind of threw me off. So I was originally going to put the statues here, but then I moved them over there and it just worked better. But yeah, measure your stuff 10 times before you order, but it all worked out.
You've scared me, man. I'm just honest.
It all worked out, bro. It all worked out. So it ended up being great. So it honestly ended up being better than I thought it was going to be. So it worked out perfectly. But yeah, this Last of Us statue, and I see some comments. Yeah, the T1000 and the T800 were pretty cool too. Maybe we could talk about those in another show, but they were pretty great. But Dean, bro, and by the way, I see your comment, Daniel, and I do actually agree with you. I would love an Ellie Part 2 statue. The Prime 1 Ellie, I'm not a huge fan of. Like the pose of her sort of crouching down, it doesn't look as right without Abby, and I fucking hate Abby, and I don't want Abby. So I would love to get an Ellie, but I just wish they did a better pose or scene or something. But anyway, Dean, what do you think, bro, about the statue? Is this you're a Last of Us fan from what I remember. What do you think?
Yeah, The Last of Us is without a question one of the greatest video games ever made. I mean, compelling story, really.
Have you played Donkey Kong Country though?
It's on the list.
It's a good question.
I said of one of the best games ever. So without a doubt, even like I don't buy Last of Us stuff, but even I know it's definitely worth making space for. And I know that you really love Last of Us, and yeah, and you already have a really cool like video game section of statues. You have the Kratos and the I forget the other guy's name.
Baldur, yeah.
So I think this would look really cool in that display. So yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. And it's The Last of Us 1, which makes it better because Last of Us 2 is fucking utter garbage. Yeah, I think this is fantastic. You said it's a quarter scale?
Yeah, it's quarter scale. Yep.
Quarter scale, 3 people. What, 20?
I was thinking 2,500.
Yeah, I was gonna say 24.
Yeah. I've heard people say it's going to be less than that. I've heard people say it's going to be more than that. So we're going to see. But yeah, I'm preparing. I'll prepare for pretty much anything. If it's 4,000, I'm still going to get it, honestly, because it means that much to me. So
my man.
But yeah, it's true, Kiko. I would budget for it and prepare for it, and I would sell something if I needed to, because this is a statue that I've waited a really long. Like, for example, Dean, I talked to Carlos pretty extensively about this. Think what would happen in your life, right? If Prime 1 comes out next showcase and says Cloud and Sephiroth diorama, right? What would you do, right? What if they say, okay, we're going to make it limited and it's going to be $6,000, right? Like, do you love the characters that much that you would sell a bunch of shit or do whatever you had to get them together, right? I probably would, because I love Final Fantasy that much, Final Fantasy 7. So I probably would, and I'd probably sell what I needed to get them. So Joel and Ellie would be the same. Like, I don't think it's going to be that expensive. I think this is going to be probably 1,000 ES or maybe higher. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because Prime 1 has released a Final Fantasy statue. It was Terra from Final Fantasy 3 and or 6, depending on who you ask.
Right.
And that was like a fucking $12,000 statue. Yeah. Granted, it's ridiculously huge because I think she's 3rd scale, and then it's got the Magitech armor, which, you know, I imagine it's, you know, going to be massive, kind of like that half scale T-Rex from who the hell did that?
Wasn't that Queen who did that?
I thought it was Prime.
Or was it Prime?
It might have been. Either way,
Okay.
I'm getting it. I don't know, maybe. Sure.
Are you really?
No, bro.
I was like, God damn.
It is way too big. And obviously, you know,
that's what she said.
Rexy is cool, but damn, I'm not going to put that thing on my wall.
Yeah. So, yeah, $6,000. That'd be a really tough pill to swallow. But yeah, I would probably just start selling shit. Because
yeah, I probably would too.
Yeah, because you only like Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I can't let you outdo me.
Exactly, bro. But I'm assuming that's what they would do. I'm assuming they would do remake. Yeah, but yeah, because it would look cooler, more lifelike. So
how dare you?